State and Fresno State next up here. We've got Oregon State, looks like right now 1-point road favorites here, 60.5 being the total in this game. Very interesting. It is Oregon State, Fresno State. So when you there we go. So we'll go with that. But yeah, Oregon State, Fresno State. Look, Oregon State, extremely impressive. I was in on the Beavers once that line came down to close to pick 'em in that game. Oregon State pick 'em -160.5, 61. The total in this one, but money coming in a little bit on Oregon State. And can they win on the road? I think this team has gotten to a point where we can trust them maybe a little bit more on the road than we used to. I mean, if you actually go back and look at this Oregon State Beavers team last season, they started to put themselves in spots to win road games. You know, they weren't that team that, you know, when Jonathan Smith first got there, obviously they had a hard time winning on the road, but you look at them all of a sudden recently. They had the big road win at USC last year. Keep that in mind. You know, they've gradually been able to improve. Now, a lot of their damage still is done at home. I still think if that Oregon State defense plays like they did against Boise, and they'll have to, because to be honest, they're playing a better offense. There's no question. Jake Haener and Fresno State's offense is much better, at least on paper to me, than what we saw from Boise last week. So this is going to be a good test for Oregon State on the road, playing Fresno. I think they can get this done. I'm just not looking to step in front of the Beavers, not after what I saw last week. Chance Nolan and the offense looked solid. They were opportunistic. Their defense completely shut down Hank Bachmeier, and the Boise State offense made them look silly, to be quite honest with you, in that game. And I still think Fresno's defense is still a little bit of a weak spot for them. Keep in mind, Cal Poly last week, first half in that game, they were moving the ball against Fresno's defense a little bit. I do think Oregon State's got the better defense, and I think their offense will move it. I don't think they'll completely shut down Haener and the Bulldogs offense, which is very good. You know, I don't think there's very little drop-off in the coaching, because the Caleb DeBoer, now with Washington, former Fresno head coach, Jeff Tedford, back in the saddle here, again as Fresno State head coach. But he's obviously been with this program before. It's not that big of a transition. Like Fresno a lot, but I don't think their defense matches up with Oregon State. That could be the difference in this one. Haven't bet this game yet, but I'm leaning to the road team here at a pick 'em Oregon State. What do you think here, Conor?
This is where I've kind of learned, if I, with Oregon State, just to stay off this one. Could they go in there and win? I think they're a little bit better, but I think you watch this one. Fresno always solid at home. Like you said, they didn't look great against Cal Poly, but they have Haener back there. What I look to in this game is the over. I think they'll be able to score a little bit. I know Oregon State looked good. They're just mistakes by Boise, but I think they'll be able to score on Fresno, and I think Haener will be able to score some points here. Fresno, not good as a home favorite, but that's usually they're laying a huge number. They're not laying anything here. And Oregon State, we talked about their last year, 1-5 ATS on the road. Should be a phenomenal game, just not one I might look to bet. But I lean over here a little bit, something I could get to Saturday night.